Yeah, just ending that abruptly.
And we're here. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
A little late, but that's okay.
Yes. All right. We are on 60. Wow.
Yeah. Guess what? We got
Good.
9 more to go to the magic number.
Oh, man. That moment when you realize that we are just almost at 100, and it's
Yeah.
still crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, hi everybody. Welcome to
so.
episode 60 of Left for Random Talk.
hmm
We have
I've
done
got it.
60 of these.
Yes, and still more to come.
We're at 87 subscribers on YouTube.
Ooh.
I don't know how to check on Twitch. I think we got only a few followers.
It's all right. Let's see here. It's been a bit of a slow week, again, in terms of
Yeah.
news and everything. But, yeah. Overall, we've got about 5 or so things here, a last minute edition as well. And yeah, we'll get into it. Let's see here. Ba-ba-ba. Right, so first off, in our little list, we have. Well, that's weird. Sorry, something caught my eye. Alright, good luck, broski. Good luck with that and the football.
Yep, have fun.
Right, so let's see here. In terms of topics, we've got a few things, so let's get into it. Sony officially buys Insomniac Studios and talks about sequels to their acclaimed games are taking place. Awesome. Uh, this one's a bit funny and sad. Star Wars Resistance has a Season 2 trailer and is cancelled the same day. Not surprising to say the least. Some Death Stranding stuff actually came out not too long ago. Trailer, information, gameplay, really weird shit. So, yeah. A bit of Monster Hunter stuff. The Everworm threat revealed and the first fleet secrets uncovered. A short Mortal Kombat 11 character trailer thing. And lastly, Metro Exodus DLC, The Two Colonels. An interesting story on the short side, but for a good reason.
Hmm.
So yeah, let's get into it. So the first thing is Sony buying Insomniac.
Oh, goody.
So I'm just currently on the CNN.net or .com
Or whatever.
thing. Just yes, just to get some intel on it. So yeah, so the makers of the PS4 exclusive game Marvel Spider-Man is now part of the Sony Interactive Entertainment. So yeah, basically Insomniac is joining their worldwide studios. Uh, let's see, they are collaborating with Sony for almost 20 years for the PlayStation console. And not much else is being told. It's just a big acquisition thing that's happened so far. And because of that, uh, it's not sure if the studio is going to be renamed or dissolved or anything. It doesn't seem to be the case, since they're quite profitable and they do some pretty.
You might
The
want to disconnect and reconnect. You just went robotic right there.
all right.
All right, there we go.
Yeah, so I just
What I
I
was
just
saying was,
checked. Whoa.
go ahead.
Whoa.
Hmm.
We have 32 followers on Twitch.
Woo!
And I just realized one of our followers is 666, Satan's lover 666. That is the most Xbox 360 name I've ever heard.
Yes. Oh, that's funny.
Wow.
Oh man, no, it's like I'm just picturing this now. Like we assume it's like some edge lord or something like that. In reality, it is like literally the most like slutty demon alive, just sitting at this hellfire computer.
Now we find that he's like the like the most cutesy person ever. He's got like My Little Pony video games on his channel. It's like really cute. Viva Pinata.
No. Then again, before anyone assumes we're picking on the guy, no, we're not. We're just joking.
Yeah, we're joking.
Yeah, so
DI.
nobody get there. Yeah. So, like I said, I don't think Sony's going to disband Insomniac like other game publishers tend to do. That doesn't seem to be the case.
I hope not.
I think they will rebrand their name because that's typically what publishers will do with a game developer, typically. But I doubt that it's going to be. I doubt that's the case, given how much weight Insomniac carries these days. You know, you've got the what's the word?
Hi,
You know,
Dark.
you've got. Hello.
For the lurk. So Twitch freaked out last night, like really hard. Dark renamed his Twitch to Salty Dark, and then his stream shat itself, and he had to stop streaming. And then,
Jeez.
not long afterwards, our friend Chaos Master, like, her stream crashed, but she didn't do anything. But for some weird reason, our other friend, Croic, was still streaming just fine.
Really?
Even
What
Goguma
happened after
Gaming
that?
stream kind of crashed on my end.
I can see why that. I can see why that kind of happens.
Anyway, focusing.
Right. What I was saying was that basically, the Insomniac's been doing pretty good for itself as of late. You know, you've got the Spider-Man PS4 game. You've got, but you know, they've been doing a lot of games as of late, and they've been selling really well.
Yeah.
And I hold on. Do they still own the rights to Ratchet?
They should. Insomniac
Let's see.
games.
It says here. Yeah, they still own the rights to it, so that's good.
Oh yeah, yay.
But Jack and Daxter is Naughty Dog.
Yeah. What's great is that the rebooted Spyro game brings back Insomniac's name in a way.
Yeah, but the problem is that while Insomniac may own the rights to it and everything, the problem is that it's under a different publisher, which is Activision, and that's kind of the problem. I don't doubt that Insomniac would like to do another Spyro game series. I mean, for God's sakes, the reignited trilogy has basically brought Spyro back from the brink of death and everything.
Yeah, it revived him.
Yeah, and I've already been hearing that there's been talks that they want to. What's the word? I've been hearing talks that there might be another Spyro game based on the Reignite trilogy.
Yay!
But the problem is like if that's the case, I'm looking forward to it, but at the same time I'm worried because how much you want to bet they're like, okay, we've got the people now, we've got this, everyone enjoyed the game, everyone liked it. How much can we change gameplay-wise? That's my concern. And like I said, I'm not one to what's the word? To say never innovate on anything. I'm not that, I'm not saying that. What I am saying is if you want to keep selling Spyro and have people enjoy it and everything, you need to keep the gameplay consistent. Because if you change it too much, well, nobody's going to play it. Case in point, what happened with the what happened with the Spyro games afterward, and how much hell that came with. I'm specifically talking about like things like the Hero's Tale series. And how basically they said, okay, let's make this the most serious thing in the universe. But this is a game
the
about...
Legend of Spyro trilogy.
Yeah, it's like, but this is a game about a purple dragon. Why should we take this seriously? Because we can.
I actually like that trilogy.
It's fine. It's just if you renamed it something else, it probably would have done better.
Yeah.
again, like this is a little thing I like to play a lot, which is basically, if you remove X character's name from X property, is it better? And if the answer is yes, then that should tell you what kind of what kind of thing it is. And like I said, what was it that you called it?
Uh,
What the Legend series, is that what it was?
yeah, the Legend of Spyro trilogy. That's what it was.
Yeah. The point is that, like I said, it tried to be something new and interesting when it clearly wasn't. Or sorry, it tried to make Spyro into something it wasn't. And, well, we all saw how that went.
Also, we have to remember, like, in that, during the time of the Legend of Spyro era, a lot of games that were coming out were turning from their cutesy self to their more mature, story-driven self.
And again, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not saying you can't. Everyone has to grow up eventually. I'm not saying you have to remain a kid forever. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that for Spyro specifically, it just doesn't work. Because again, you're talking about a purple dragon whose biggest accomplishment has been fighting a green fellow who just got pissed off because he was called ugly.
No, he got pissed off because they said he was harmless.
That the big no, the big thing is that he just hurt because they just called him ugly. Everything else he was just mad with. It was the ugly comment that threw him over.
Yeah. Also, you have to remember, there was a Legend of Spyro game, the one I own, Legend of Enter the Dragonfly, which is like the shittiest one, where you blew bubbles. Like that was a breath weapon you had. You blew bubbles, and it didn't do anything but catch bugs. I actually like that one.
Oh no, I can't like play or look at that game.
Yeah.
For the life of me, because oh my god, it's so horrible.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What's going on?
Went into a Nick Ju character.
Whoa, stop. Something just happened. Everything just kind of shot itself. It didn't disconnect, but like everything went quiet.
Oh, I have no idea what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be someone downstairs doing something stupid. I wouldn't be surprised.
The last thing I heard from you was how it's like the game was terrible, and that was it. And then we come back to Nickelodeon.
No, what I was saying is that I can't play not Hero's Tale, Enter the Dragonfly, because everyone in that game looks like something out of Nick Jr.
Yeah. Like...
And the whole... Go ahead.
That was the only Spyro game I ever owned, and I enjoyed it just because it was the only one I had. But once we grew up and like we saw all these other games, and also when I was actually playing Enter the Dragonfly, the Legend of Spyro trailers were coming out, and I was seeing all these great games. I'm like, God damn it! I am sitting here with these polygons. Like, these very obvious polygons. And you get to play a game where you're chased by a frigging steam train. And also fighting a giant dragon. You technically don't get to do that in the original Spyros.
Yes. Now, like I said, if you really look at all the character models, it's very obvious that they took existing PS2 models, and just tried to smooth them over to make them more HD.
Yeah, they reused assets.
And it doesn't look right. I mean, for God's sakes, you've got the nerd hunter face, for God's sakes.
My favorite thing about that game was the very stretchy Muppet mouths that they had.
Oh no, that's what made the whole game just like I said, it's trying too hard to be cartoony, and it's like, please stop.
It's trying too
Don't
hard
do
to be
this.
as good as the previous ones, too.
Yes. But the previous ones, you could not ignore. Sorry, you could enjoy and everything because it was like I said, it was very 2D. Oh,
Yes,
sorry, not 2D.
Jags, a lot. This is live. It wouldn't be on
Yes.
Twitch if it wasn't live. I don't know how to rebroadcast things.
I'll look into it into the future. No, I'm kidding. I don't know anything about Twitch.
Yeah.
No, but that's the big thing I should stress here is that. Sorry, I had a moment. But that's the big thing I should stress here is that the old games, they were very low quality polygons, but they tried to make them expressive, and you could forgive it for being so.
Yeah. Like, that was my favorite thing about, like, the PS2 era games. The way the characters' mouths moved like Muppets, and it was all stretchy and stuff like that. And also, when you attacked something, your fist just suddenly grew 10 times bigger. It was so much fun to see that, but at the same time, when you see it now, you question why it does that.
Exactly. And like I said, everything. Spyro's had a hard time, and honestly, if you what's the word? Like if you can, like Insomniac has now, or sorry, Activision, whoever made the Reignited trilogy, they have an opportunity to make more Spyro games. The big thing is now, do you move forward and do you HDify and make good Enter the Dragonfly and A Hero's Tale? Or do you make something new?
Well, the last time they made a new Spyro, it was Skylanders. And it was only popular with really little kids.
Oh no, apparently like the big thing I heard about that is that they had a dragon character. And it was a completely different, unique character. But then they said, let's make it Spyro. And they just changed the colors. That's why the Skylander Spyro looks so, oh my god, what did they do to you?
Oh, wow. Yeah, let's rename this guy for money.
Exactly.
Hey, people are going to want to play this because it's got Spyro in the name.
Exactly. That's what happens.
Anyway.
But that's my point. I'm just saying is they know what the formula works now. They see how well the Reignited trilogy did. The big thing I suppose they should do now is, okay, let's take the gameplay, the mechanics, everything from the Reignited trilogy, and let's just make something lighthearted and fun again. Let's not try to be overly serious, and let's not try to be extremely kiddie. Let's shoot for middle schooler here. That's the best way to put it. But yeah, like I said, I think what's the word? I think Insomniac's going to be fine.
I think
given
like,
this
is just a suggestion, maybe, that they should at least touch up on older games and then slowly move into making something new of that same game.
I mean, it could work. I'm not saying don't do that. Yeah. But like I said, it's just the problem is. Oh God, what's the word? The problem is that you have to have a formula. You have to have something that works, and then start going like, okay, how can we change this slowly and surely instead of just rushing into it?
Yeah.
Because that's when you wind up with cash grabs / just horrible things, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy. Well, like I said, I think the future is bright for Spyro. I do.
I was about to ask, like, wasn't there a game recently that did exactly that? Oh yeah, 76. Fallout.
Yeah, but that was heartless money grab. And again, this is Bethesda. They've been reusing the same engine, animations, and models since. Oh God, I can't even remember how long they've been.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is Bethesda's lazy.
Yeah. For those of you on YouTube, we're having a red circle or red spot. So, if it's buffering too much for you to tolerate, there's a link in the description to go over to Twitch. YouTube is a piece of shit. As per usual.
As per usual. Jeez.
This is really, really weird for me. Because YouTube says that we've been going for 24 minutes, but OBS says we've been going for 25.
Okay. All right.
I don't get how that
All right.
works.
Neither do I.
By the way, did you see that video from the Pearl that I sent you?
Not yet. Though I do believe something's going on with your connection, because I do hear you breaking and everything.
Oh no. Nope, that's user setting. What am I doing? Server settings. We're set to US West. Let's change it.
All right. Give it a moment.
Let's try East. Hello?
All right, keep talking.
Hey. Whoa.
Hmm.
Okay, I can hear myself, but it sounds like a xenomorph screeching.
That's gonna get picked up in post, you know it.
Oh, it always does. It always does.
All right. All right, you sound fine.
Yeah.
So let's keep going before anything else happens. Okay. Next up on the docket is Star Wars Resistance. Ugh.
Is
So
that
we've
that
covered
new
this-
Disney show?
The one with the Dragon Booster animation.
That's
So
a
3D
great
show
animation
thinking.
style, by the way. I just don't think it should be for Star Wars.
It could have worked, but they were lazy about it, and it's like, ugh. I'm gonna be complete. So we covered this show months ago. I want to say almost a year ago. I think.
Quite a while ago, yeah.
I have not bothered to watch it. I attempted to sit down and watch the first episode. I gave up halfway through and I said, nope, I'm done. I'm done. I'm not putting up with this. And I think it was for the best. Because apparently it's not gotten any better. It's just gotten worse, actually, I think. And apparently now we know when this series takes place. It's supposed to take place after catastrophe that was The Last Jedi. And even then, people aren't interested. Because The Last Jedi was atrocious. Why would anyone want to continue watching off of that? You're all stupid. Like I said, I tried. I really did.
Yeah.
But I can't stomach crap. And this is pure crap.
Nobody can stomach crap.
Exactly.
Except for dung beetles. But the thing is, with dung beetles, they only pick the best dung. And that's not it.
Exactly. Not even the dung beetle would try to. Oh my god. I'm sorry. I'm just looking up stuff for resistance, and just look at this. This should tell you the quality of this. Oh, I reset the thing. This should tell you the quality of this abomination that is a show.
Oh boy. What the fuck?
Holy eyebrows, Batman.
It is a cell shading nightmare.
Exactly.
Like the way his face is animated, it makes me think of those early CGI movies. Like
Or TV shows.
Yeah, mostly movies. Like, I don't know where it's actually from, but there's a meme about it. Where it's a Christmas movie. It's all CGI, like all 3D and stuff like that. And the grandma speaks gibberish.
Oh, I know that. I know this movie. It's a Christmas thing.
Yes,
And
that's what it looks like to me.
Someone joked about it and said, okay, grandma's off her meds again.
Yeah.
Poor thing.
I'm
You know,
wondering why there's shadow next to his eye. Why is that there? That's not how eyelids work.
I think it's lighting, like he's facing away from the light source.
That's still not how eyelids work.
This is what I mean. It's just this show. This has been going downhill. Like the quality of Star Wars animation since the acquisition of what's the word? Since the acquisition of Disney has been going downhill in horrible ways. I mean, you had the greatness that was the Clone Wars animated series. We're talking about taking faux wood textures on 3D models, and it looked amazing.
Yeah.
And then you move that away to what Ralph McQuarrie, the concept artist for the Star Wars movies, did his style in 3D, but it didn't work because what's the word? It didn't work because that kind of art style works when it's not moving. In motion, it looks terrible. Like all the characters have very weird proportions. Their heads don't line up correctly. Like I said, it's very weird and it's very jarring. But the stories were all right. The problem is that the characters sucked.
Is it the Clone War animation, like the 2D one, or?
No. We're talking 3D.
Okay. Because the
But
2D
problem,
one was pretty damn good.
Yeah, well, it was from the same guy who made Samurai Jack.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that Rebels failed because no one could tolerate the main protagonists. All of them were just annoying losers. You know, you had you had the Jedi and his apprentice set up, and that could have worked. Except the apprentice is annoying shit. The master is a fuck up. He's in love with a tailhead. I mean, Twi'lek.
Nice catch.
Again, Rev, space racist. That's gonna be It's gonna be like a third title I'm gonna have that I'm slightly ashamed of.
Yeah.
God, I can't. Again, someone's gonna take that out of context. But you got her who's trying to keep the crew together. You've got Steve Bloom being the loud, obnoxious Steve Bloom that he is, and you got a faux Mandalorian and a cranky old droid. You'd think that together that would make for an interesting viewing, an underdog story. Except everyone is stupid and I hate them.
Yep.
The best way to put it is there's no stakes in the show. Any tension is dissolved immediately because they're never going to get hurt or they're never going to die.
Oh God. This is the one with Ezra as the main character, right?
Yes.
I've only seen one episode, technically two, but I've seen one episode to the end where they find I think it's Rex.
Okay.
Like they find a bunch of like a mobile, pretty much an RV, like one of those old crawly machines from like the Clone Wars.
An ATTE.
Yeah, and there's like clones living in there, but they're old and they're hunting dune worms. And like I saw that episode, and there was tension. Like one of the probes showed up and reported everything it saw, because one of the clones wanted to be on the good side of the Empire, and Rex was pissed off because they're not good people, and like immediately dissolves any tension with this guy.
Exactly, and this guy you're talking about, this is Wolf. We're talking about the leader of Wolfpack, the guy who's fought against droids, who lost his eye to a droid, who's been fighting with his brothers for almost 20 years, and yet you expect me to believe that under the slightest bit of pressure, he caves in and turns them into the Empire.
To be fair, they've been on a desert planet hunting worms for who knows how long. And like, and you can tell one of them has kind of lost their mind.
Gregor, yes. Well, he's always been screwy, so to be honest, I wasn't like, oh, he's lost his mind. It's more like, oh, it's Gregor. He's just being himself, all right. But that's my point. It's just, I get it. The guy has post-traumatic stress disorder from the war. He doesn't know who to trust. Fine, I get that. But at the same time, I'm like, Wolf, For God's sakes, calm down. You've been in worse.
Mm-hmm. I mean, let's not forget that infamous episode where that Jedi guy was pitting the clones against each other.
Yeah, Krell and the whole Umbara catastrophe, as I like to call
Yeah, the guy with the testicle for his throat. He's a frog, but still.
Yeah, boy. Like I said, it's just Rebels squashed any tension it had,
Yeah.
and it's obvious, and it's sad. It really is. Because, go ahead.
The second episode I saw actually had quite a lot of tension, but it was more oh shit! I accidentally opened MS Paint. I was trying to click on the chat. I don't really have any other way of describing it other than like Nazi.
Go on.
It was an episode where they're at a weapon testing facility.
Uh-huh.
And one of the guys was forced to, like, one of the spies that was in there was forced to test a speeder. And the guy in charge...
And the thing.
Yeah.
The thing explodes because it was sabotaged on purpose to damage the Empire, but Thrawn, the guy, the Admiral, knows that there's something up, and he doesn't let him off because he knows he sabotaged it.
Yeah.
But this is the problem. Anytime someone dies in this show as well, it's an off-screen explosion. I get that you can't really show much, and that it kind of... But it gives your imagination something to cling on to, and that's fine for something as horrible as dying to an explosive. All right, fine. That's you know, I'm not asking to see body parts, but at the same time, this is the problem with the show. Anytime someone dies, it's off-screen or so quick, you don't even realize, it's like, wait, what? How did he die?
But that episode had so much tension in it on, like, the fact that if anything goes wrong, you have to be the one that gets killed because of it going wrong. So, if a generator doesn't work, you have to be there when it actually detonates. Like, that kind of thing. You're being forced to your death. And...
Exactly.
That episode kind of freaked me out a little bit, because I still think about that scene, but at the same time, it all kind of dissolves instantly when everybody gets out.
Exactly my point. This is the problem with the show. It establishes tension, it has it going, and then immediately it deflates it by either a joke, someone saying something stupid, or we all got away safely. And that's my problem. No one in the show made me care for them. None of the characters, or the main characters we should have been rooting for, made me say, hey, go for it, like survive. No, the whole time I'm like, please die. Someone please kill this idiot.
Yes.
In fact, the only other, and that's the thing, the show had an opportunity to show you the darker side of the rebellion, show, hey, not everything is on the up and up, the rebels are insurgents, they're effectively terrorists. Keep that in mind, yada, yada, yada. Instead, it's all like, no, they're the good guys, and the bad guys are comically stupid.
Mm-hmm.
They even ruined the Death Troopers, and I was so angry. Well, the point of the Death Trooper is this is a 6-foot-tall monster with a garbled voice on purpose so no one knows what they're saying. Immediately when they introduce the Death Troopers into the show, they have them with the world's worst voice changers I've ever heard. I'm not even joking.
Wow.
No, to make matters worse, when one of them calls in to their superiors to tell them, my squad's been killed, I'm heading back to command or whatever, they have her voice clean when it cuts to the guy talking to her over the comms. So you hear her, it's like, you stupid fucks, this isn't,
Oy.
That's my point. The show destroyed any tension the Empire had, or any credibility the Empire had. And the only one that I don't think they ruined, ironically, any time the story moved away from the protagonists, we're talking like with Obi-Wan versus Maul on the desert, or when Darth Maul's on, or when Vader's on, or even when Thrall's Thrawns in the show, the tension's there. There is when that potential, that raw emotion and tension is exposed to its fullest. And you're like, yes, yes, I want a show about this, not this.
But let me
Oh, it just
guess,
ruins.
it doesn't last long.
Exactly. Like a perfect example is when Vader's fighting Ahsoka in the pyramid. There is no one's talking. It's them fighting. It's pure emotion. You see how Ahsoka's become strong to the point where she's actually fighting Vader to a standstill. That's you're like, oh my god. You feel the power and emotion. And then Ezra looks up and says, I still need a lot more training. You dumb. It's like I screamed and said, you ruined it.
No.
If they had Ezra in the scene, have him shut up, say nothing, look in terror, and then run to save his master. That's how you preserve the badassery of the scene.
Yes. Like, even in the movies themselves, like, on like the forest battle and all that shit, Han Solo is making jokes, but they're all very serious jokes. And it's only when it's absolutely necessary for it.
Exactly. A perfect example is when they have R2 trying to unlock the bunker. R2 gets shot, gets completely fried, isn't dead, just damaged, and so immediately he's like, well, I think I can hotwire it. He's trying to alleviate the tension, but at the same time he knows, oh shit, now we're in trouble.
Like, even one of my favorite scenes about that movie is Chewie and the Ewoks, Tarzan swinging to the walkers. I still love that. That is a comedic scene that is very much necessary, because not long before... Oh.
Go on.
Thank you, YouTube, you crashed. Because not long before that, we saw an Ewok grieving over a dead friend.
Exactly. This is an example of tension, a good form of tension diffused in the scene. Mm-hmm. That's good. Because it shows, what's the word? It shows that the scene is serious, but at the same time, it's not so serious
it balances it out. Because, like...
Exactly.
When Ezra says, I need a lot more training, he is not taking anything serious at all. Like, there's this big epic fight. There are two people with a lot of power behind them, swinging swords that could kill each other in one hit, and all he has to say about this act is, I need more training.
It could, and that's the thing, you could have the line be more serious, or have him realize the gravity of the situation. That's fine, but the delivery is what's botched.
Yep.
And that's the problem.
Yep.
And then you've got, like I said, but then you have other moments like Maul versus Obi-Wan, their last fight. And I know a lot of people don't like it because it's like, oh, it's too quick. Oh, it ends too quickly. But again, I want to point out, these are guys who are like in their 60s.
Yep.
And we've seen Maul, even though he's like I said, in his 60s or something like that, and is well past his prime, he's still able to do impossible feats and keep up with his own. He's a fit old man, but he's still an old man. And what makes the scene work, what makes Maul's death work as a tragedy, not just like it's been years, but finally he's dead, but actually as he's dead, like, oh, I actually kind of liked, that's the point. It's that when he dies, it's quick, it's sudden. You see it on his face, the realization that all this time I've been trying to get to this guy and I failed. And instead, he's dying there. And instead of Obi-Wan letting him die out on the sand or something, he actually holds him and comforts him in his last moments. That's what makes the scene powerful. You're seeing what could be ironically, Maul's rival in Obi-Wan is the closest thing he ever had to a friend. And because of that, you feel the weight, you feel that gravity of the situation, and you do feel for the guy. As evil and as ruthless as Maul was, you feel pity, you feel sorrow for him, especially in this final moment.
Yep.
And that's the problem with Rebels. It never could capture these moments with the other characters. It was always just comedy at the wrong times, the characters saying something stupid, or they were never in any real danger.
They do, I know that you have a problem with like, the characters in the Gears of War game, like, where they're always making jokes, even when they're being attacked.
The newer ones, not the older ones.
Yeah, still. Uh, that kind of humor is actually not a problem. It's somewhat necessary when you look at their perspective. But something for what Star Wars has, with the symbolism and all that shit, it's not a good thing to have at all. Like, have that comedy when you're not in a very serious situation.
Exactly.
Because, again, in the movies themselves, when they made jokes, they were still serious. They still held the perspective of, we are in a war zone, this is very dangerous, but maybe we should lighten the mood just a little bit, but not go overboard. We're not the idiot here.
Exactly. Like, again, to use episode, when they're trying to fly to Endor, and the Empire's kind of like, okay, this is suspicious. What's going on? Solo immediately says, "All right, we need to be careful. Just I don't know, fly casual, but don't make it look like we're trying to be casual." And it worked really well for a comedic moment. Sorry, for a comedic moment, because you got the sense of, okay, try not to fuck this up, and it worked. Yeah, but like I said, to go back to topic, I have not watched anything of Resistance. I cannot bring myself to sit down and watch this show. It's just not worth it to me, because, how do I put it? Even though the show had, the big appeal, Lord, this is world building for, the sequel. Oh, excuse me. For the sequel era of Star Wars, yeah, that's fine. I don't mind it. The problem is, this is meandering. This is annoying. There is nothing that makes me want to follow these characters. This whole thing is just, I want you all to die. Horrible, painful deaths, please. Crash and burn, if possible. And like I said, that's my point. It's just not worth it. It was never worth my time. I've never with it. And apparently the wider fan base of Star Wars is on a similar track, because no one has actually, the show's getting canceled after season 2. That says something. Again, perfect example. Clone Wars is going for 7 seasons. 7 seasons. The Rebels went for 4 before it's canceled. Now we're here. 2 seasons. Disney, you need better writers and you need better animators.
You can always tell when Disney has dipped into something.
Yes.
You can always tell, like, even if they don't tell you where it came from. Okay. Disney has this thing where they keep the mentality of, it is a child that is watching this. We can't go overboard. Coming from the people that literally had a lion play as Hitler. And also, we didn't see it, but we did hear it and put 2 and 2 together. A mother got shot, leaving a baby alone. Like,
exactly.
And they did that multiple times. They did it with, like, Fox and the Hound. They did that with Bambi.
That's my point. I don't know where this idea of kid-friendly comes from. It's bullshit, and we know it. And that's the problem. I think that Disney is trying to remain this kid-friendly thing and not deal with serious situations. They've strayed away from from doing serious things and trying to break the ice for kids to more, let's keep the kids ignorant so they keep buying from us. And that's what it really feels like. And it's sad to think about it, really.
Yeah.
And what else I'm getting pissed off with is this constant tirade of it's a kids show, it's always gonna suck, it's always gonna be bad, yada yada yada. It's just for children, yada yada yada. Fuck no. My childhood, for a perfect example, had serious shit in it as well for kids
Yep.
shows.
Yep.
Beast Wars, for fuck's sake. That show had people dying left and right in horrible.
One of the machines even performed cannibalism. Like, he ate his own clone.
Yes.
I-
Or worse, whatever. I know everyone's just.
Like, oh my gosh. I'm trying to think back of all the TV shows that I've watched, like, as a kid, and I realize mine are kind of pathetic. Like, I was a little kid that watched Wolf's Rain. That was gory as hell. I watched... No, that one was pathetic too. I didn't watch the Clone Wars as much as you did. But I was the kid that grew up on movies over TV. If I did watch TV, it was whatever the hell my brother wanted to watch, which was always Hey Arnold or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
No, hold on. Even Hey Arnold had.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake, that whole show was depressing as fuck.
Yeah. For me, it was Recess. It was that robot monkey show, which was very stupid, but also very serious. Like, dear gods, when you look at some of the shit that happened there, you would kind of be freaked out too. Transformers. Oh my god, Hot Shot is still my favorite. Beast Wars. A little bit of G.I. Joe. I didn't really get to watch very much of it, but I watched like 80s cartoon shows and horror movies. Like, I watched Tremors for the first years of my life. I watched Jurassic Park for first years of my life. Like, I cheered when Muldoon got killed until I read the book.
Yeah.
Like, I grew up with people getting ripped to pieces against, against nature or against something out of their control. I still didn't watch slasher films, of course.
Oh, of course. But that's what I'm getting at. I mean, to go back to Beast Wars for a second, there are shows that are really just both emotional and sad. Again, another example is, you have a character, Rampage, which is this sociopathic crab from hell. And the shit he says, like how he's murdered people and everything, is like, oh god. Like, this is the closest to a serial killer the show had ever gotten to.
Yeah.
And yet, immediately on that, there is an episode in which he finds what is effectively a terminally ill kid, pretty much. And he changes completely. He's trying to protect this kid and keep it safe from everyone. And the moment it dies horribly, like it's been blown to pieces, its head is off, it's dying. You see, it literally, it says that it's hurt. It dies, and he screams in agony.
Just so people are clear, he's talking about like a robot kid, because I know what you're talking about.
Exactly. But that's what I'm saying. He screams out in agony. He's devastated. And this show made me feel for a sociopath. How do you do that?
You know what's worse about all that?
Mm.
And I learned this, like, there was that birthday that I had where I went to Toys R Us, and I could grab like $75 worth of stuff at Toys R Us. I got a lot of Godzilla shit. But I also got a Beast Wars toy. It was the Raptor. And with these Beast Wars toys, you got a DVD with the character's best episodes on it, and a body part from that kid.
Oh, Jesus.
So if you got a whole bunch of those toys, you could get a body part of a robot child.
Jesus. But like I said, this show was capable of making you feel, and it was amazing for what it. And it dealt with serious issues. It dealt with horrible people or, people trying to do good, people trying to be evil. Just it dealt with people, and it was amazing for what it was. This is why I say kid shows can be for everyone, because there was a time where these shows weren't afraid to tell you, hey, sometimes good people don't always make it, or sometimes bad things happen to good people. And the point was, don't dwell on it. Try to be better. That's what that's what these shows could do. And yet nowadays, these shows are just cookie cutter, kid friendly garbage that are making children stupider and not helping them. And I get that this whole teaching a lesson was done because of soccer moms, but ironically enough, that did more good to the world. This is the only time I will flat out say that parental meddling in something actually benefited the world.
I just now remembered one of the shows I used to watch, and we saw, it had one of the most horrifying deaths I've ever seen. To this day, it still makes me kind of play with my neck. Or get really, really concerned if I start getting a sore throat. The show, it was a really shitty CGI show called Reboot. I used to, this was early days of CGI. It wasn't the greatest, but it was really well done. And that show taught you very, very well that if you make a mistake, there can be serious consequences. Because they're these characters that live inside a computer. They don't go outside the computer, except for, maybe the later seasons. The children get ripped away from their families and sent into the internet. And when they come back, they're fully grown.
It's bullshit. And that's why it's
this show hit hard. Because whenever we don't know, what it is. Whatever an entity, whenever somebody puts a game in the computer, a giant cube comes down over top of their city, and whoever is in that cube has to win the game, or everyone in that section is destroyed and dead. And, we even see it. We see a cube come down in the distance, and then it rises up very quickly. That part of the city is a wasteland, and you can see bodies. And, one of the guys goes, they lost the game. Well, oh well. Clean it up. They're nonchalant about it. But you realize this is, their everyday life. And
it's as hell.
yeah, and, one of the characters, this little, this little girl that we watch grow up to a beautiful and also very fierce woman. She is cornered by a Trojan virus kind of character, like a pirate or something on the internet, and she's cornered. Oh, shut the fuck up, dog! I don't like that dog. But
what's happening? Who is it?
The dog is screaming at the neighbors.
Again?
Yeah, but here's...
Hold on a second. Just so nobody assumes she's mistreating them or nothing. These dogs have a tendency of just barking at everyone.
The younger dog came from an abusive household before his current owner. He doesn't listen to anyone.
Yes.
He does not care.
Yeah, she's not, again, just so... Because a lot of people
take things a little too serious, but no.
Yeah.
Anyway, this chick has, ironically talk about dogs, this chick has a dog the size of a full-grown rodeo bull right next to her. And he's made of metal. He's a robot or something. He's supposed to represent an antivirus protection program or something, but he's a big dog. And she tells the dog, you can take a nap, you're fine. And then she flicks her hand forward, and her nails shoot out like little needles, stab the guy through the jugular, psst, from the chest up to the chin in a fan formation, go right into the guy's throat, and he falls forward onto them. He's dead. Now, no, I was a really little kid when I saw that, and I still watch the show.
Yes, and like I've said 100 times over, it's this is what the TV shows of the day used to be. They used to be They taught kids real issues. They taught them what to do. Nowadays, it's just crap. And I'm so done with it. This is why I can't sit there and watch Resistance, because it's just some not even a good Saturday morning bullshit. It's just white noise now, and I can't deal with it.
This is why people always question me why I watch toddler shows or really little kids shows. Because the shows that are meant to be for older kids are either really, really gross or really, really sugared.
Or just not worth it.
Yeah.
In the case of Resistance, it's a case of it's not worth it. Fuck off.
This is also why I don't watch TV. It's just become garbage. Like, I have to do a majority of the chores of the house. I have to fold laundry, I have to do laundry, I have to do the dishes, cook dinner, etc., etc. I'm doing everything. And I don't even turn on the TV when I'm sitting there folding laundry, because 5 minutes of TV, regardless of what it is I can feel my brain cells dying.
Jesus.
I can't do it. I can't do it. I will happily watch TV like Steven Universe. I'll watch online. I'm fine with that. I'm just not going to watch it on the TV.
Another thing I need to point out as well is that...
What?
Say this. Oh, sorry, I said... You mentioned reboot, and I need to mention this real quick. And that is, if you look at the newer series that came out, I guess the continuation, would it be? Yeah, I don't know. If you really look at some of the character designs, like, it's obvious they tried to freaking kidify them or make them less scary than what they used to be. For God's sakes, the main villain looks like something out of Ratchet and Clank, and that's not a good thing. I just looked at it and I'm like, what the fuck happened?
For me, the creepiest character was the lady with the masks.
Oh, Jesus, I can imagine that. Freaky Harlequin from hell.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God, I almost forgot about him.
Yeah, like I said, he was horrifying in later seasons. Like, we're talking about this almost demonic-looking thing, and yet now it's like, oh, now he looks like something out of Ratchet and Clank. Yeah. It's like, the fuck happened, man? What? This is a downgrade.
I will say, I didn't care for, like, the kid characters, like, in the early part of the series, because, like, that's always been the problem with TV shows. When they have kid characters, the children characters are always super annoying. But then, like, in the later part of the series, the kid characters have grown up. They become badasses. Like, the little boy becomes a badass with, like, a mechanical eye.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really cool, but it's also really old.
Exactly. To put it simply, or to put it the best way, is that no one is born great.
Mm-hmm.
All of us we all start somewhere as pathetic, weak little things.
Mm-hmm.
It's what we go through that makes us legends. And yeah.
Oh no, the Thundercats are getting yet another reboot, and it's awful.
Yes, that's been going on for a while, from what I've been hearing. Nothing's happened.
Like, the previous reboot was terrible.
Hold on. From what I've been hearing for months now, the show has been like, oh, it's being made, it happened. And that kind of tells me, oh, it's been canceled, which I'm hoping it has. It's like, fuck off. I am so tired of these rebooted, squashing, stretched TV shows. I'm tired of it.
I was about to... Except for the DuckTales reboot.
That's the only one, apparently, that's been doing well.
Yes, it has been doing really well. Because they held on to the old formula. They didn't change too much. Like, yeah, they've added a better story. It's got better graphics. But they have, like... Can't word today. I'm still drinking my coffee. But
It's
like,
fine.
as terrible as many reboots are, these guys have held on to what made DuckTales such a good show. But they've also spruced it up for like the modern day. They don't bring politics into it. They don't bring anything.
Which is refreshing.
Yes! They don't bring real world bullcrap into the show like many other reboots do. In this case, like,
Yes.
they give the characters a little bit more stretching room, a little bit more life than they did in the old one, because they couldn't really do very much in the old one. They were limited.
Yes, it's a full on. What's the best way of putting it? A facelift.
Yeah. I've seen like a lot of people just freak out over the new DuckTales. It's so good, except for Bill. Bill's not happy about it. Bill's not happy about it.
It's all right. It's all right. It's just, like I said, I've seen. I'll say this: like the original Thundercat, or sorry, fuck me, the original reboot was all right. I didn't mind it. I thought it was all right.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a pity that it was canceled because they were doing stuff. It was, how do I put it? Everyone loves the new Voltron TV show that came out, and that's basically what the Thundercats reboot was being set up as. It was basically going to be Voltron before the Voltron show, but it got canceled. People want it back, and for good reason. It was doing a lot of interesting stuff, but instead we got She-Ra. That, my God. The sheer amount of hatred I have for that show.
The She-Ra amount of hatred. Kill me.
Like I said.
We have been talking about Star Wars
Old shows.
for so long. Can we please move on?
Alright.
I have roughly half an hour before I have to let the dogs outside.
Alright, let's keep going then.
Mm-hmm.
Next up we have, let's see, 1, 2. Death Stranding.
Yep.
So, as everyone knows, we're interested in seeing where Death Stranding goes. Because this is crazy interesting, We're talking about things that haven't, how do I put it? A design that hasn't really been done before. Weird, embryonic babbies and Norman Reedus.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's all this game has. I'm kidding. So about a few
And lots
days ago,
and lots of cocaine.
and lots of specifically from Kojima.
I'm mostly interested, like, in this game to see how many swimming pools he had to go through. Because the crazier the shit gets, the more swimming pools.
Well, we know that Norman Reedus and worked together on this, at least in a few areas. So it was a shared swimming pool. Yeah, you have Kojima's cocaine swimming pool, and you have Del Toro's, like, I don't know, drug van or something.
I would, no, I wouldn't say that for Del Toro.
Yeah. We're slowly expanding game developer drug habits. We have Kojima's cocaine swimming pools, and we have Digital Extreme's weed closet.
I thought it would be beer, because, like, whenever the dev stream comes on, they're drinking.
It's either, no, they have the weed closet for when they need to keep shit alive, and then they have just a distillery underneath the entire book that produces the beer. And it's all owned by Steve, specifically the beer. But no, like I was saying before, so Death Stranding's new information came out for Death Stranding, gameplay, things of that nature. We got to see some more aspects, and we found out what's with the babies. So get ready for the insanity that this is. And this is me trying to recreate this or restate this as accurately as possible. So here we go. I'll just bring this image up so whatever I'm saying makes more sense, hypothetically. So it works like this. Apparently, there is the world of the living, as we've said before,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's the beach, which is like the afterlife, and then there's like an in between where things called DTs exist, and there are these weird like spirit things, basically.
Yeah.
So there's ways to connect to the in between, and CDTs, which is the babies. These babies specifically are from brain dead mothers, as in like comatose. The brain is dead, the body's alive.
Ah.
But the babies are they're basically taken from the mother because they have a connection with her because she's in, I guess because she's in the land of the dead, she's like a bridge, and the baby is the connecting point.
Yeah.
You can tap into that connection and and see DTs and go into the in-between world and everything. That's the point. According to I believe this is Hartman. No, that's not Hartman. I'm trying to remember Del Toro's character name. It's escaping me. But according to him, these babies are specifically equipment. They're not really living, but clearly they are living. It's like this world is so fucked that babies are viewed more as equipment than a living creature, or at least from as Sam calls them, still mothers, basically.
Yeah.
According to Del Toro, the baby is completely unaware that it's outside its mother, and it's because of this that basically you can tap into this ability. I'm pretty sure that if it knew, it would be basically useless. So in this image specifically, they have to continuously update its data so it still believes it's in its mother's womb. That's basically what the machine is for. They're called incubation devices. Well, what's sad is that, according to Del Toro's character, these babies don't live for more than a year, and after a year, they're dead, basically. That's depressing as fuck.
Yep.
But he's so desensitized. Is distraught by this. He basically says, "Try not to get attached to it. It won't last that long." No, not in those exact words, but you know.
Yeah.
And you actually see Sam distraught because he actually cares for this little thing.
Yeah.
And it's sad, really. He even asks, "Is there really no way to save it?" You know, and it's like, oh fuck, why? Sad as fuck. Anyway, so that's basically what the babies are for. And Kojima specifically wants us to get attached to this baby. He even says the point is that players get attached to it. So maybe there will be a way to save it. I'm hoping there is. Because fuck me, this is too depressing.
I'm unfortunately going back to like the previous topic. I remembered another TV show that I watched that is actually a great example of change. Courage the Cowardly Dog. Jesus fucking Christ.
Well, that show is horrible. Horrible in the sense of like the shit that they were allowed to show. It's like, ooh.
Yeah. Ren and Stimpy is just a flat out no, because they did whatever they could to get around the censors, which was just not okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Back to focus.
So that's the point of the babies, basically.
Yeah.
So going a bit into gameplay. Basically, the gameplay is basically like what's it called? It's basically like, hold on, Metal Gear Solid 5. Very big open world you can traverse. The mechanical arm is actually it's a multi-tool basically.
Yeah.
And it can work like a pinging tool. Like it shows you how far you are, how close you are to your target, etc., etc. What kind of terrain and landscape you're going across. That's what they're designed for, or one of their functions. Another point is that this is something that kind of made me freak out slightly. At some point, Sam falls off a cliff and lands face first on the ground. Not a super high cliff, more like maybe a storied fall, something like that. enough to like maybe sprain an ankle, but not enough to break bone. Anyway, he falls face first, and immediately he has the incubator on his abdomen, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So he landed on that fucking thing. I'm like, oh god, that baby is dead now. It is putty, but no, it's completely fine. It's just crying its head off. And one of the mechanics, it seems, is that your health is tied to the baby. So when it's upset, when it's crying or whatever, you have to soothe and comfort it. So basically, he unplugs himself from the baby. He starts cradling it, and the mechanical arm actually opens up, goes over his shoulder, and acts like a what are those things called? That you hang over a baby's crib.
Oh, mobile.
Exactly. It does that, and it actually starts playing a lullaby to try and calm the thing. I'm like, oh, it's like, okay, now at least we're taking care of it in some way. Fuck me, I'm still stressed out. But yeah, that's one of the mechanics, it seems. Another point is that you are a delivery guy. That is your point. That is your job through and through. So you're basically going from point A to point B. The people you'll be interacting with apparently aren't there. They're like these, what are they called? It's like a bunker in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And you go in, you make a delivery, a hologram will have a guy go like, hey, how you doing? He says he wants to be a part of the UCA, which I have no idea what that stands for. Or they probably mentioned it, but I can't remember off the top of my head. And the big thing is it's connecting humanity with itself. They even showed a map of the world. The entire East Coast is like deserts and mountains. Like it's, usually when you go out there, it's more like semi-tropical, semi-cold. Something's happened.
Yep.
Like half of the country is like plain deserts and just death in general, and the other half is like mountainous and somewhat intact. I looked, I was like, is my home still there? Oh, good, it is. And is my other home still there? No, fuck. The island is sunk. Again.
Wow.
No, but that's basically what the objective of this group is. It's connecting the world to itself, or the people and humanity back to itself, which I'm okay with. We also got introduced to a new character, which is calls herself Mama. I think it's the same actress who played Nico in Devil May Cry 5. I think it's the same person. I could be wrong though, but she has the same face and she has the same buck teeth. If it is the same actress, it's weird because she doesn't make sense. She's more calm and complacent. It's like, whoa, impressive acting. But apparently she has a quote-unquote daughter. It's one of... Okay, so when we see the gameplay, it's those invisible creatures, right?
Yep.
Those weird human... Yeah, apparently she has a baby form of those things, and it's completely harmless. When Sam comes in and his device starts blinking, panic, he looks to the ceiling, he sees this invisible baby on the roof or the ceiling of the place. He immediately freaks out, covers his mouth and everything to avoid breathing. But Mama comes out, she's like, no, it's fine, she's harmless. Actually gets the baby to come down, cradles it, gets it to stop crying, and then lifts it into the air and it vanishes. And apparently somehow it's imprinted on her, but she can't leave this base for some strange reason. Like I said, it's weird as hell, and it makes me question what happened to this place? What caused this world to be so fucked up?
Yeah.
Still, I'm gonna be completely honest here. The game's won me over. I want to see where this is going, play this, find out what is this world in its entirety? What caused this to all break down? Not just because of what's the word? Not just because of famous actors are taking a part in this and everything. No, it's more
Both
like
physically and vocally.
exactly. I want to see what kind of insanity Kojima's come up and just where this game's going. I know for a fact that will likely play well because it's based off of what's the word? It's still based off of Metal Gear Solid 5 gameplay and tech. So it'll be stable, it's just whatever he brings to the table is going to be equally as important and interesting. But yeah, beyond that, there wasn't much else shown outside of outside of all of this. Death Stranding is coming out sooner than expected, and a lot more information. And everyone's like, "What is it? What is it? What is it?" Even I'm like, "Where is this going?" You know.
Yeah.
I'm actually curious if he's going to reference Snake or anyone in the game. Like I said, Konami's killed Metal Gear effectively thanks to Survive. And I guess technically speaking, the original Metal Gear story belongs to Kojima. So I think he can do with it whatever he wants. I think, don't quote me on that. But I guess the franchise and what they do moving forward belongs to Konami, so yeah. What else? Actually, I do need to say this. Norman Reedus, aka Sam, they do make him talk a lot like Snake, very gruff, and I'm wondering why is this the case, you know? Why does Kojima always want his protagonist to sound like they've smoked 20 cigarettes every day? I mean, it's not a bad thing. It kind of gives you the idea of this guy's badass, but, you know, it makes you question. What else? Yeah. They do mention Luden in the gameplay, so I guess it is a sub. They're basically going to confirm it's a subspecies of human. So that's going to be interesting. Again, the man is insane. He wants to bring humanity to its next evolution through games. So who knows where this is going to go? All right, that pretty much covers everything in Death Stranding.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to it. I'm worried to know where this is going.
We need to take a break because I got like 5 minutes before they need to go outside.
All right. So we'll take a break. We will see you all in a few minutes.
Yep.
All right, so see you all then.
Yeah, it's just me and the audience right now. I'm going to play the intro song that we had on repeat. If you don't want to listen to it, then that's fine. Just tab away. But we'll be back in a few. I need to let 2 annoying puppies outside before their owner gets home, comes by to pick them up and take them home properly. So, unfortunately, All Night by Perius on a audio library will be on repeat. I have to plug that in. But yeah, we'll be right back, guys. Alright. Just waiting for that to wind down. I'm still eating lunch. I guess this is lunch. It's bowl cereal.
Searching for music for your next video? Then you need to check out our...
Okay. I had to ask, how many times have there been an ad playing during that annoying loop? Because if there were ads playing during the break, I am so sorry. Don't mind me, I'm just eating cereal. We technically have 3 things left on the list. He added another topic, so there's actually 3, not 2. I'm excited.
And we're back.
I'm still eating my cereal.
Alright.
One of the dogs figured out how to get to the front yard. I don't know where the gap in the fence is, but he managed to do it.
Oh no.
Also, I left them outside. Like at 12 o'clock, I let them out. Every 3rd hour, I let them outside to go to the bathroom and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
So the last time they were outside, they were out there for half an hour. Half an hour. That is plenty of time. I go upstairs after letting them out because I needed to change some things around. And there's a big pile.
Jeez.
I fucking hate these dogs. I'm so glad they're going to be leaving soon. I've already texted their owner to let her know that the old dog has figured out how to get at the front yard. I just don't know where or how.
Oh no.
So I'm going to mute myself on stream because I'm eating cereal and I have milk to get through.
No, it's like, well, the old dogs figured out the weakest link in the fence. It's just like Total Biscuit's dog.
Like, this is a 8-ounce Chihuahua. He's really tiny. And everything blocking the fence, like every gap is blocked by a log that weighs 10 pounds. How is he getting out?
Maybe he's digging.
No, like,
Maybe.
every gap in the fence, like, even underneath, there's a log there blocking it. Unless he went for one of the gaps that leads into a neighbor's yard, and he ran the long way around.
It's possible. Or jumped it.
No, he's too tiny for that. And the fence we have completely blocks our view. My brother's like 6 foot something, and it goes over his head.
He's just climbing up the, what's it called?
He becomes a spider monkey.
Exactly. He's just
like a literal spider
the...
monkey, like from Ben 10.
No, he's just climbing up the shed or something, just leaping over. It's like, hee. Anyway.
Also, I have to ask,
mm-hmm.
who do you want us to host once we're done? Do we want to host Lycan, Chaos Master, or Dark?
Who's doing what right now?
Dark is playing... Dark and Chaos Master are playing together. They're playing Teamfight Tactics. Lycan is playing Final Fantasy.
Okay. I guess we'll go for... I don't know. I really can't decide with this kind of shit.
I can say that, like, if it's Chaos Master or Dark, it's gonna be really, really entertaining because they both throw salt at each other. Like
right.
when it's Dead by Daylight, like a majority of their gameplay is Chaos Master freaking out over people screwing her over, and then of course Dark trolling her, and then the other half of it is Karma coming to bite Dark in the ass. And when it's Sea of Thieves, they both steal people's ships, but they don't do anything to the person's ships. They just sail it to an island, park it, and then leave.
How funny.
Okay, now I'm gonna eat my cereal, but carry on.
Hold on. Someone just got me. Of course. Hold on. Give me 1 second.
I only managed like one sip of milk with a few cereal pieces. Well. Okay, Ben. I gotta keep an eye on my coffee. Like, the second it goes cold, the ants are gonna be all over it. There's so much brown sugar in it. How's everybody's day been? Day, night, morning, afternoon. Dimension. Hope it's been going well. I am sitting here eating cereal during the podcast with a candle that never stops crackling. It never stops crackling. It's like I'm listening to a firework. Like a really tiny, tiny firework for hours on end.
Alright, I am back. So where were we?
We're moving on to Monster Hunter.
Explorer. Yes. So a little while ago, Monster Hunter had yet another trailer, since the game is coming out sooner than expected.
Yeah.
This one was a big one, so there was a lot to unpack this time around.
I'm putting the link in the description and in the chat on Twitch.
Okay. So basically, it's come out and it's kind of shown what's going on with the new continent. So first things first. There is another Elder Dragon, and, well, it's basically doing something to the environment. It's not clear what it is, but it seems like, based on whatever it's doing, whether it's moving, or, no, actually, I think it's flying and just landing in places, but it's causing trouble with the ecosystem. To say that this is a danger to one region is an understatement. We're talking about a thing that apparently can cause an extinction of devastate an entire ecosystem just by its presence alone, which is concerning.
I saw the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
They say that it destroys ecosystems from the foundation, and then, like, later on in the trailer, they mention how the fault lines in the area were wrong, like something had happened to it.
Exactly.
This creature is going all the way down to bedrock, destroying the foundation of the land itself.
Well, that's the thing. I'm looking at this, what is basically called an everworm.
Mm-hmm.
And looking at it, it doesn't seem like it should be able to do this. It's aerial, it's old, its body is too slender. Basically, this thing shouldn't be able to dig underground. We've seen digging monsters before and how they're usually built. Mm-hmm. Stocky, wide limbs, giant horns to help move stone.
Very bulky arms.
Exactly. This thing isn't that. It's too small, too frail for this kind of digging. Doesn't even have horns, just ice, forearmor. No, I don't think this, completely honestly, I don't think this thing is causing the bedrock destruction. I think this is a byproduct of something else. I think this everworm is waking up from a period of hibernation, like most elder dragons tend to do, or it's been disturbed somehow, and something underground is causing it. Just like how Nergigante and the other elder dragons were being called here because of Xenogivus. This might be a similar situation.
Yep.
Excuse me. Like I said, it's not built for terrain. It's built for the air, and it shows it. Excuse me.
Yeah, something's happening here.
Yes, even looking at its body, it has ice. It's clear this creature needs to be in an ice region to build this kind of armor. If you look at the wings alone, you can see that something's happened to this creature. It's probably been alive for a very long time. It's been fighting for an extremely long time. I think the ice is a prosthetic. I think it froze its own wings to give itself, flight again.
That's very likely.
It's not uncommon for these monsters to do that kind of thing. Use the environment to make up for shortcomings. Still, we saw this thing in battle.
Mm-hmm.
It is dangerous. It's powerful too. Hell, even the Hunter Knight himself, he wasn't able to beat this thing, and that guy faced Nergigante on his own. Even broke some of its claws off, and yet he was beaten. Hell, I fear he's dead. Actually, man's too old to keep doing this.
Yeah.
Not only that, but we've also seen a few other monsters as well. We've seen a subspecies, actually, of the Glavenus, actually. It's called the acid Glavenus, or toxic, I believe.
Yeah,
Or
I saw that.
I don't think this is a subspecies, like, how sometimes some monsters will develop a subspecies based on environment. I don't think that's the case. I think this is an example of an old one, just, reaching the end of its life. Given the fact that we see it in, the rotten veil, all this gunk growing off of its body, kind of tells you something. Like I said, I think this is just an example of one that's reached the end of its life and it's basically just, it's ready to die.
It's doing its last hurrah.
Exactly. The moment a blade is about to break is when it's at its sharpest, as they say.
That's the wrong scene. No, we're not ending.
But yeah, like I said, it's interesting to see it, really. And it kind of explains why they always sharpen their tails. It seems like whenever this gunk accumulates, they have to do it frequently.
Yeah. It's sort of like their equivalent of rust.
Exactly. Now, looking at this, well, from what I can tell, this it is called an acidic Glavenus, or Glavenus. I never know how to pronounce that. But from what we can tell, it seems like this acid, this gunk, accumulates over time very quickly, and it seems like it's something that's based on age. The older the Glavenus is, the more gunk it has to deal with. But it seems still capable of sharpening its own blade and maw. It's just when the gunk just kind of crusts off, really. I don't even think it's useful as anything.
Maybe as a little bit of armor, but not by much.
Nah. Again, we're talking. Well, that's the thing. These monsters, the metal of their scales and everything, are typically used to make some of the best swords and armors. But if it's breaking this stuff off like it's nothing, I don't think it would be that useful. Probably flaky, not that worth it.
Well, that definitely sounds like rust.
Yeah. Which, again, isn't too surprising given the creature.
When
Yes.
they treat weapons, like use swords and stuff like that, they use this really, really hot, somewhat corrosive oil.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking like they heat up the oil to 400 degrees.
Yes.
And that tempers it. That makes the metal stronger. But if you're not careful, or if you don't do this act, then the metal becomes very brittle and easily broken.
Yes.
That pretty much means the exact same thing there. I think what's happening with this guy is that he doesn't have the right kind of heat generation to keep his metal from being brittle and untempered.
Yes. It seems to be the case. When this one was shown sharpening his tail to the hunter, there was no heat. There was no fire that they typically have whenever they sharpen themselves. It was just, he bit into it, started scraping it. You can hear this horrible metal grating sound, and then that's it. The blade's set. No heat, no fire, no nothing.
Yep.
Yeah, like I said, it's probably one that's reached the end of its life by now.
Very much so.
Which, again, is sad, but as expected. So, Yes. I've also looked into more with the Brachius monster, for example.
Mm-hmm.
It's very clear that this one isn't a migration from the old world. This one's been in the new world for a good while now. That's the thing about them. They typically will be in areas where heat is abundant. So the fungus specifically that they have to coexist with can mature, can grow,
Mm-hmm.
and spread more easily. So it's likely that these monsters have been in. It's just we haven't seen them since coming here, which isn't surprising, really, all things considering.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's interesting. There was also another subspecies of the Tobikadachi. Looks more like a pangolin, actually, with very little fur, actually.
Oh, the viper?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's another interesting instance of another subspecies. Just like the other ones, they seem to be able to throw their quills at someone, but they seem to have lost the ability to generate electricity, which, again, isn't surprising given the cold environment. There is also talks about a subspecies of the Pookie Pookie, a bright, well, it's a bright orange, very vibrant creature. I think this actually might not be a subspecies. I think it's a female, to be completely honest. Because we've seen subspecies of them before. They're never this vibrant. Again, this is just assumption on my behalf. So there it is. So the first is the subspecies Tobikadachi. I find the color very weird, given that this thing's being found in the ice region. You think it'd be white, not this shade of maroonish orange.
Well,
And you can even see the. Go on.
on a technicality, polar bears aren't white. They're cream.
True, but this kind of coloration clashes to. And again, Tobikadachi is a monster that's an ambush predator. This would give it away. Could be an
Well,
instance.
snow is also very blinding.
Also true. I think it could be just a case of a subspecies environment. It's happened before.
Yeah.
Yes. There's also a very peculiar subspecies of the bat. Ugh. A bit creepy, actually.
The bat?
Yeah, there isn't the one that inflates its neck. There isn't.
Oh, Paolumu or something like that.
Yeah, there isn't a good body image of it. Just its inflated neck. Seems like a
Oh
night
yeah,
variant.
I've seen an artist draw something like this. It
I
looks
get
so
it.
weird.
I think it's just a night variant, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes these kind of tend to appear. So we have that, and so on and so forth. Anyway, the point of the trailer is everyone's getting affected by this. Everyone's moved to the ice, moved to the new ice region or Iceborne itself. People are getting acclimatized and everything. However, there's a secret. Apparently, prior to the fleet's arrival, someone came to the New World before them. A single adventurer, probably someone who, discovered the land and didn't tell anyone. His ships, or this person's ship, has been found half buried in the ice, really. And it's interesting, to say the least. Because from what I can tell, at least from the trainer, the handler, when she's speaking to the old lady, I forget her title, actually. It's like First Fleet Huntress, something like that. But when she talks to her and talks about the boat and discovering this ancient parchment frozen in the ice, it's as if she knows about this person or what happened to this place, or the boat and everything. It's interesting, and it kind of hints at what's been hinted at with this world. We know that at least 5 fleets arrived to the New World. We had the first commission all the way to the fifth. But there's always been this air of uncertainty when they talk about the First Fleet. Most of the people we meet are very old and exemplars of their, of their generation, I want to say.
Yeah.
But we don't see anyone else. Granted, they could all be old and maybe some of them died, but there's too much. There's not enough information here. It's as if something happened and they've been trying to hide it from. Again, it's disturbing to consider it, really. I mean, every fleet that's come. That's the weird thing. Every fleet that's come after the first has always been happy or proud or excited about doing it. But whenever they talk about the First Fleet, or anyone from the First Fleet, there's always this sort of air of caution, of shame, even.
Something must have happened. Betrayal, maybe.
It wouldn't surprise me, but at the same time, it doesn't seem like betrayal. It seems like failure. Something wasn't expected. Someone messed up somewhere, and it resulted in destruction. It's probably what happened.
Maybe somebody made a mistake, and it resulted in an unneeded loss on a great scale.
It's likely, or maybe they wound up born before they made it to the New World, and because nobody was prepared for the cold climate, they died. By the time they realized the New World was elsewhere, a lot of them must have already been, frozen to death.
Yeah, like when we look at real world history, something like that has actually happened many times before.
Yes,
and at the same time, a lot of people are aware that it's going to happen. They do it anyway because they want to find a faster route.
Mm-hmm. Again, the HMS Terror is a perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of what I'm getting at. Then there's also the parchment that was found, the big secret paper that everyone's been kind of like, what is this about? From all I've been able to find, I think this is the only example, like the HD version of that parchment someone's found or pulled from the game files. I'm not sure. I could be wrong, but this is what people have been speculating on.
Hello, what is this?
Well, this is what I can tell. A star in the sky, two beasts, stars and moons, probably, circling or trying to deal with something under the ground, a bigger monster, more fearsome. On the left-hand side, something in the ocean, leviathans more than likely, surfacing, fighting, dying likely. A hand, 5, probably in reference to the 5 fleets. What looks like a calendar. But that's it.
There's also that large starry thing on the upper right.
Yes. Though it could be a more stylized version of that, what's the word? More stylized version of the thing in the center, the star in the center, I should say.
Yeah.
Now, if I had to guess, this is dating something, a calendar, basically, a warning. If I assume on the right, it's likely a calendar, seasons, months, or so on. And then in the middle, phases of the moon, likely a warning when this monster rises up again from its slumber. I think that these dragons, the 4 circling it, are likely everworms. And they're trying to keep it up.
I think they're different versions of Everworm, because one of them has ice particles.
It's likely. But it seems like they're all working to keep whatever this thing is down.
Maybe that's
If
why
true,
they destroy ecosystems.
It's likely. But if true, this kind of spells why this particular everworm is acting so strangely. The cycle, the time for this creature to wake up again is up. And, well, frankly, we're not ready.
Oh. Okay, so this can go like one of two ways, really. And I'm basing this off of something that I've seen in, like, Pokemon or something like that. When a great calamity is about to happen, something, either it's in nature or it's the call of something really powerful, draws everything to it. And, like, as you said, all these monsters are going to Iceborne. All of them, even if they're not supposed to be there. And regardless of them fighting each other, they're either there to help stop this giant creature or assist this giant creature. In the real world, when a very powerful, a very alpha kind of creature shows up, everything else around it seems to listen and obey until said creature has been defeated. It's usually by humans.
Yes.
So, I think all these creatures showing up in Iceborne are being called there to assist or in some way, shape, or form. Of course, instinct is still instinct. They're going to fight the shit out of each other until this moment comes.
Well, this is a thing that has to be mentioned. This has happened, again, what Xenogivus was doing, except in this instance, Xenogivus was a parasitic creature in nature, something that was foreign to the world, we'll say. To the point where a lot of animals wound up getting called here to fight it. This even an instance where Nergigante was protecting Zora Magdaros, so its prey, and instead leading it to detonate itself against Xenogivus to kill it. Other elder dragons were also acting strangely. Again, it all points to this thing wasn't meant to be in nature. But the strange thing is, there are some monsters that seem to have actively been welcoming Xenogivus' arrival. The big example being the oh god, what are they called? The unicorn monsters.
Kirin.
I'm trying to remember. The Kirin. To take an example of the mythological version, it is said that these kinds of creatures arrive when it's time to signal the arrival of a new king to the land or a god. Mm-hmm. In theory, they were sighted during Xenogivus' awakening and a little after, implying that they were signaling the arrival of a new god monster, which is interesting. If what is happening in Iceborne is similar, except no monsters here to protect this creature, it's another powerful, dangerous thing. And like I said, something big is happening. And this is the second time something like this has happened in a short amount of time, which is not good.
Yeah.
And every Monster Hunter event prior to this game, it's always been the problem with a single Elder Dragon. It's never been too huge. Nature's never been against itself. It's always been, the frenzy virus is happening because Gormagalas are starting to molt into their next form, and they're causing creatures to go berserk. Or an island is about to be destroyed, but it's only because a giant leviathan is scraping itself because it's trying to shed its horn off, and etc., etc., etc. It's always been just one or two creatures having to deal with their life cycles, but in different ways. But in these instances, these are awakenings. These are creatures waking up and doing just destructive things to the environment, extinction events, and so on. Which makes you wonder, Kashala, for example, the golden dragon. She's been active all this time, but she's not really a threat. Her whole point is that she's always moving, she's always gathering gold resources.
Kolv Taroth,
that's it. That's always what she winds up doing. She's not really a danger, she's not really a threat to anything else.
Yeah.
But yet you got all these other monsters acting out, attacking, defending, etc. Like I said, I think something bigger than just whatever's in Iceborne is coming.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder, is this going to be another example of devastating? Or is this another sign of a new age turning over?
Only time will tell, really.
Yes, a lot to consider and a lot more to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's about everything for the latest Iceborne trailer. A bit of speculation. That's kind of what we do with these trailers. All right, last two. Let's get into it.
Ye-
Next is MK11 and its combat pack.
Boy.
So I've said it before. I'm not a fan of Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Done with the series. I want it all to just crash and burn as horribly and as powerful as possible, but never ever gonna happen.
Yeah,
At
but they
least
finally have
yet.
Spawn in the game.
After how many years of asking?
After how many years of him being in cutesy Soul Calibur?
Exactly. It's like, motherfucker, let me join. Let me join. But yeah, so basically the trailer recently came out, and the following characters were added in. That is Shang Tsung, Nightwolf, Terminator T-800, which is the old man version, Sindel, Joker, and Spawn. There's actually a little date for each of them.
Which Joker?
Shang Tsung, it's a completely different new
Okay.
version. I don't even know.
There are so many characters now named Joker.
It's from Bitman.
Mm.
So there's a little date on each of them. Wraith, Terminator, Sindel, November 26th, Joker, January 28th, and Spawn in March 17th. Which again, I'm like, okay, this is fine. Okay, I need to say this. Am I the only one who sees like xenomorph like monster eating Nightwolf's head? I'm not the only one who sees
Yeah,
that.
I see it
right?
too.
What is that?
I don't know, but I will say, in the movie, Reptile's pre-ninja form looked like that.
References?
This tiny, like this shitty, tiny little lizard with sharp teeth. It looked like somebody took one of those biting plants from Little Shop of Horrors and stuck it onto a body of like a
Exactly.
of a lizard or something like compy.
Like I said, Mortal NetherRealm's been trying to make the movies canon because it's retro and people like how shitty it is. No, don't do that. Nobody cares.
Yeah, please don't. Nightwolf was a pretty cool character for the brief amount of time he was there.
The movies are just the only good thing to ever come show, and that was it.
Was what?
The TV show, the live action one, I should say.
The only other good thing about like the Mortal Kombat movie was the music.
Yes, and costume work as well, I suppose.
Yeah, CGI was shit, story was shit,
Okay,
but it was fun.
Okay, we'll say iffy costume design. Just anyway.
No, some of it was good.
Yeah.
Continuing.
It's just, yeah. Well, the point is that so we've got all these characters coming out, and I don't care about half of this roster. I don't care about Joker. I don't care about Sindel. I only care about his Spawn and Terminator, and that's it.
Exactly. Oh my god. I'm on the same boat here.
It's like, yeet.
Like, granted, we've had some, like, elderly characters in the Mortal Kombat games. Dear, for the love of God, just let these people retire. But, like, Terminator's different. He's a very, very iconic character, no matter how old he gets. And then there's fucking Spawn. Holy
Which is just
shit.
a corpse.
Like, Spawn is, like, the epitome of edge and badassery.
Yes. Yeah. So, what I'm gonna say, like I said, I've been just... I don't like how everyone looks here. Let's be completely honest.
Mm-hmm.
Joker looks like someone trying to redesign the character. It just looks like, I don't know, it looks like a pudgy actor trying to look intimidating. I just don't see it. I really don't. I know that Shang Tsung's the live action actor actually came back to reprise the role. Which, again, good on the guy, actually. Yeah, you know what's funny? As an old man, he's more menacing than the young fellow. Like, he's very calm and collective, and he's like, oh, well, I'm going to do this anyways, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm okay with. Nightwolf, I haven't looked into his interactions, and I don't care to. Not because I hate Nightwolf or anything, it's just more like something feels off, but I can't put my finger on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Sindel, by the way, a lot of the character interactions have already leaked online. They've turned Sindel into a raging racist. Which I'm like, the fuck? Why did you do this to her?
What is Sindel from?
Sindel is from Mortal Kombat. She's Katana.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, shit.
well, she. But that's the thing I need to say. It's just that apparently in like the old canon and everything, she's not a bad person. She did care for her daughter and everything. It's just that she couldn't deal with being married to a monster, so she kills herself. You know, but she's racked with grief because she left her daughter with that kind of monster. And she's been in the old canon. She's tried to redeem herself, get back with her family. You know, try to be a good person again.
Mm-hmm.
The new version, they just turn her like into this evil cunt for no reason, and now they're turning her into a racist.
Yep, they turn something genuine, wholesome into trash.
Yes.
Because the world is already so fucked up, wholesome does not exist anymore.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm not the one. What's the word? Best way to put it. And there's another guy, a huge Mortal Kombat fan called the Fourth Snake, right? And what's the word I'm looking for here? And his he goes into extreme detail on how the characters have changed for the worse, and points out genuine issues and so on and so on and so on. When Sindel came out, he was so angry about what happened. You know, that not angry. He's more like, why is this a thing?
Yeah.
You know. And I feel sorry for the guy. I know where he's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
That said, however, I will admit this: the guy, he does love Mortal Kombat. Like, we're talking about like actually dressing up in costume for some of his videos. I'm trying to find an image of him in the Raiden costume. He dressed up as Raiden for a few times. Like, fuck.
Wow.
No, he even does the Raiden pose when like he arises. What's the word? Rises, you know, where he extends his. And during that, he accidentally knocks the hat over, and he's trying to say it like, "No, I totally meant to do that." Like I said, the guy's a good content creator, like legitimate. Anyway, so we've got Sindel racist towards non-human characters from like Outworld thing, like specifically Tarkatans and everything. I'm like, you know, I'm a space racist too, but this is a bit of an ass pull right now.
Yeah.
And not in a good way. It's just, so we've got that. They've also shown some of the, like, the fuck, man. And I mean more along the lines of like, apparently this Terminator isn't the old man, it's a Skynet controlled version, and its objective is it's fighting these people to gather data, like what is magic and everything, so Skynet can use it.
So it's the original Terminator, if it wasn't crushed.
Yes, basically. Which, again, I don't mind. It's actually an interesting twist, but it's already been done with the Predator. its ending is it learns magic and becomes the ultimate predator. Ugh. I'm just worried what they're going to do with Spawn. Like, how are they going to change him? You know that, oh god, what's his name? His creator, McFarlane. You know he probably came to them and was like, don't, I'm only letting you use him if, because like I said, McFarlane is like insane when it comes to what's the word? When it comes to Spawn. Like, the only reason why Spawn is kind of like in obscurity, or like nothing new has been done with Spawn, is specifically because McFarlane refuses to let anyone change the character in different ways.
Yeah.
Which is both a good and a bad thing, I suppose. In a way. Like, you know, like, how do I put it? At least there's not some young punk version of Spawn whose goal is not to kill people, but to defeat the devil because you know.
Yeah.
At least that's the case.
It's not
So,
a phase, Mom.
Exactly. Again, swings and roundabouts, I suppose. But yeah, that's all for the content, Pat. I'm probably gonna watch.
Yeah, there's not very much to cover on that. Like, we don't care for the new Mortal Kombat, and that's fine.
I'm going to cover what happens with Spawn, Spawn, Sindel, and Joker, but that's it. Sorry, the Spawn, Terminator, and the Joker, and that's it. Beyond that, I'm just gonna be like, and I'm going home.
Yep.
To eat my, you know, I'm going home to make some chicken and eat it while I shower. Yes,
Yeah.
I do that. What up?
All my best memories of Mortal Kombat is eating an entire half of a chicken. Which, funnily enough, because like my parents left me alone, like my entire family left me alone for a weekend, or I think for an entire day, and my mom pointed out that there were 2 halves of an entire chicken that I could cook up and eat. So I went, okay. I heat them up. I slather them with a barbecue sauce. I ate an entire fucking chicken in one day watching the Mortal Kombat movies.
Wow.
It was the best night of my life. Because nobody was there to tell me not to do it.
It's man, that's both funny and sad all at the same time.
Well, I was little. I was able to do it. I wouldn't do
Yes.
that now. I want to, but I wouldn't.
Yeah. No, like I said, I'm happy with my shower.
Sure, chicken.
Yes.
It's like, you go to grab the soap, you grab the chicken, and say like, oh no. You've lathered yourself up with chicken. Oh no.
Now I smell like a delicious meal.
Yeah.
Man.
Anyway, last topic.
Yeah. So this one is kind of like not really a Revs review. It's something that happened in the moment. I was like, oh, okay. This is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So a little while ago, we covered Metro Exodus on the show.
Yep.
And well, a little while ago, or actually today, I think, a DLC finally came out for the game, and this is a story called Two Colonels. This takes place during the events of, during the ending of the game, specifically when Artyom and Miller are going into the super irradiated city. Like we're saying, like, you know, oh, step in. Oh, look at that. I've got stage 5 terminal cancer in under a minute. The fuck? Oh, it's an emergency Amber Alert thing. Okay, yes, okay. What was it that Mini Lad said when he got an Amber Alert?
I don't know. I haven't watched
Oh,
these videos in a while.
Basically, it was Mini Lad didn't know. Thought that Amber was someone, like a sex robot caller, right? And so he made Amber Alerts. Don't you, something like, don't you just hate them or something like that. And everyone's like, Minnie, no. Oh,
I mean,
man.
it's terrible when they show up. At the same time, you gotta hate them for interrupting things.
Oh, no. Again, Minnie didn't understand what an Amber Alert is. It's fine. But anyway, so this takes place during the time when they go into the find a cure for Anna's dissolving lungs, basically. But this time, you're doing things through the perspective of Miller, but you're not actually playing as Miller. Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Basically, Miller is sitting with the kid, whose father is another colonel, and he asks about what his father was like before he leaves. Tell him a story while he gets ready to go. And so his father, his father is another colonel for the metro system that you go to during the game, the one that's completely like dead, like people are shot up, riots happen, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So it turns out that the DLC actually takes place from the point of view of Colonel Salva, and what happens is that you see how the metro system falls apart. You first start by using a flamethrower and burning out slime to keep like parasitic worms out of the metro.
Yeah.
And everything is good. They're all given a ration of green stuff, which is like anti-radiation medicine that they inject with. And so they're all given a small ration of it, but the rations are going low. He's actually friends with the general. Again, it's a small community, so there isn't that much in the way of like military, establishments. It's very small. So they're friends with each other. They both are single fathers, so they have a lot in common, and they talk. And the general lets him in on the rations are running very low. They're worried that in a few months' time they're going to have to start cutting back even further, and people will get angry, etc., etc. And so the plan is now to leave. This, by the way, this is all happening during New Year. You actually see Salva's son getting the lights ready for the party. It's actually very sweet because everyone's there. You hear happiness, you hear joy, you see everyone down there just having a great time. And even when the general comes on and says, "Thank you, everyone, for making this year great and everything," there is this one moment, this one feeling of everything is going to be okay. Hell, he even joins in the countdown for when the new year comes in. So the second it comes in, all the lights turn off, the star on the tree turns on. And for a moment you're like, oh, that's so sweet. So good. Of course, the lights short out, everything goes dark, everyone's like, oh, this sucks. But at the same time, it's like, this is sweet. This is the little things in the world.
Yeah.
It sucked that it didn't work, but damn it was fun.
It was great for morale.
Exactly. But then you have a time skip for a few months in, and basically things are not going so well. They're running low on rations, and they're asking people to please. Oh no, sorry. Prior to that, the general and Salva basically have an idea of, all right, so we're running low on rations. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to ask the people to donate some of their rations back to us so we can distribute them more easily, so we don't have to take everyone's rations. They're like, okay, we'll do that. Cut to a few months later. Not a lot of people have done it because everyone needs it to survive. So it's not a lot of people did it, so now they have to start confiscating them back, and naturally people are very upset about this. You don't fight to, you don't hurt or harass anyone for it, but you do see a lot of people in long lines asking what's going on, soldiers trying to keep the order. It's very sad. It's a horrible thing. And prior to this, you actually meet a grandfather who's been saving his injections but hasn't been using them because his granddaughter is very, very sick. So he has a hefty stockpile of the stuff, specifically just so, he can help her. Give her an immune boost, everything. Mm-hmm. It's at this scene where you're ordered to raid him. You go inside and everything, and he's protesting, they take his supply, but you actually have a choice. You can either take the whole lot and leave him and his granddaughter with nothing, or you take the excess and you leave them with just enough for the two of them. Naturally, you do that one, and he comes back later helping you out with the riots, and it's implied that his granddaughter and him are gonna get out of the metro, supposedly. But then, like I said, order dissolves completely. You got entire people just rioting and everything, and of course, Salva's son is mortified. He admires the soldiers. He wants to be one of them. But when he witnesses a group of two of them beating up a trader and taking his supplies, he's horrified. And his father actually tries and comforts him and says, "Okay, tell me who those men were. Their discipline." And it's implied that he actually will carry that out, because Salva isn't one of those military types who will say one thing but keep letting the atrocities happen. He's more like, okay, I will try to keep my men in line. We're not all mindless animals or abusers of power. But like I said, during this whole thing, they pretty much spew the communist propaganda a bit in this DLC. Take from the rich, give to the needy, etc., etc. Oh, we're only taking from the people because yada yada yada. That doesn't last, trust me. Eventually, it gets worse. The riots become full-on assaults. There's even a moment, very horrifying actually, where you're forced to take up a rifle and start shooting people running at you with, trying to kill you as well. And one of the soldiers actually says, "Remember, they're not civilians anymore, they're the enemy." And again, it's a horrible thing to think about. It's like, oh God, This is horrible.
Yep.
But the goal is this. The idea is that they're going to evacuate people from the metro because the radiation is just getting too bad. There's no way for them to survive. So the goal is this. They're going to load up the kids and the families first. Anyone who is young or is a parent, or et cetera, load them on the trains first and send them away with the green stuff supplies. And then the rest they'll try to save, but they can't save everyone. And even Salva he's against it, because it's like, we're leaving people behind. We're categorizing them between level of importance. And even the general's like, I don't want to do this, but we have to, or else no one's going to make it. And again, I understand that kind of hard choice to make. It really is a difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
But again, it gets worse. As things progress, the riots, there's a last fight to keep the train going, or to have the train escape. But during the fight, you're almost killed. You're injured and you're being dragged away by one of your soldiers. A bunch of other ones come in to save you from the riots. Suddenly, the canisters that there are these like things that are tarped over. Suddenly the tarps come off and they're canisters of gas. And one of the soldiers says, the bastards are using gas, we need to get out. So they're falling back. But I noticed something. In that moment, the rioters didn't bring any canisters. These things weren't brought in by them. These were on the soldier side. Someone on their side brought the gas. And that's when it started to dawn on me. Oh no, we're not doing we're not being told the truth. Immediately after you're saved, most of the people who save you, they're trapped in the chamber with the gas. They're killed. Another soldier runs up the escalator to contact the general, like, we need to leave now. He's shot, and it's revealed that the general is talking with the leadership and says, all the pawns have been eliminated, we're ready for the main evacuation. And you realize the truth. This entire time, this evacuation, all of this, it was never for the people. It was to get the leadership out first, and everyone else was going to die. And it's horrifying. Even when Salva beats him to a pulp, and he tries to contact his son, who's a captain, his son is dead. He kills himself because he did this so his son would survive. So, of course, without his son, he has nothing left to live for. He's killed all these people for nothing. Mm-hmm. Like I said, it's horrible, because it's very likely nobody that met alive.
You are cutting out really bad.
What, now?
Yeah.
Always calm down. Hold on, I'll be right back. All right, there we go. Hopefully I'm fine now.
Hopefully.
Like I said, it's pretty much clear that no one made it out of that metro in one piece,
Yeah.
except for Salva and his son. And this is the thing I like about the DLC. Between the cutscenes, it will shift from the past to the present where Miller is or what he's doing. Uh, Before the riot storyline happens, Miller is actually walking through the metro with a flare, and he tosses it into an open area, and it's just filled with corpses, dead, long-standing corpses, and you get this sense, my God, what happened here?
Mm-hmm.
And you play that event, you see what happens in real time. It's like, oh God, it's worse than I could have imagined. But this is good storytelling. We see the past, we see the present between the two colonels. We see how both of them are going through the similar situations, where one is going through the aftermath, and the other one is actively committing these atrocities or living through them. It's very powerful stuff.
Yep.
In the end, we go to 1 month after all this. Salva and his son are still alive. He's going to the building where Miller has to go, specifically to find like the maps to get out of radioactive hotspots. It's here where the DLC is more combat focused, where you'll be fighting a lot of mutants, specifically Nosalai and the blind gorillas. Like, they're all over the place, actually.
Yeah.
Which makes me think that originally they were supposed to be librarians, but someone changed the model at the last second. Or they couldn't get the model to work. I don't know.
Maybe.
And, well, it's very sad because Salva doesn't make it out of there. He winds up, what's the word? He winds up getting attacked by one of them. He crushes the creature's arm with a bulkhead door. But during it, his injector gets thrown, the green stuff gets smashed on the ground. It's useless. And he dies holding the map, highlighting the areas where the fallout is not so potent. And Miller actually arrives and he opens up to the corpse. He basically says, I know what you went through. I'm a father to, I have a wonderful wife. I was so mad with her husband because he always was putting the search for truth ahead of his own family, never taking responsibility, but then realizing that he was the blind one because he was living exactly like how Salva was living, blind to the world, blind to the orders, and he probably would have done the same thing for, quote unquote, the greater good. And like I said, it's a powerful moment. And it puts Miller's story into better context, especially when it comes to the end, where he reaches the body, he talks to the guy. He has his own injection ready, so he'll survive the fallout. But then I think he hears about Artyom and realizes that Artyom needs his help. And so it cuts to him giving Artyom his injection and, of course, Miller dying due to radiation poisoning. And like I said, it's a wonderful DLC. It's short, it's to the point, and it's sad. It shows you just what these people have to go through. And oh, for fuck's sake, another Amber Alert. Yes. Okay, thank you. It shows you what these two went through. They went through similar paths, but one of them was able to stop and gave his life for a better cause, while the other one has a chance to live on, basically. And it's sad, but it comes to the point. It's a small DLC, at most maybe an hour, and it's worth it, I would say. It doesn't overstay its welcome. The horrors are presented in a digestible and not so atrocious manner. And it teaches a lesson. You shouldn't be blinded by what others say. You should think for yourself and never let someone fool you, even if they say it's for your own good. Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
So
it's worse now when you realize that things like this happened in real life.
yes, where again, like I said, and I'll say this to the day I die: communism is the death of society,
Hmm.
and I will fight to the death about that. And this DLC pretty much shows that in its purity, because they really did show how this communist specific uh, community went about doing things. Instead of telling people, hey, the radiation's getting worse, we're going to have to evacuate soon, we need the green stuff, please, they lied about it. They didn't tell the people why they were taking the green stuff. They didn't tell the people that the radiation was spreading, and in the end everyone died for nothing.
Yep.
They all could have escaped, and yet the ones who wanted to keep the communistic power alive, they chose to kill everyone, and there you go. But yeah, and like I said, it's this DLC is worth your time. It really is. It's the writing caliber is on point. The levels are straight to the punch. Character motivation is all there, which is ironic because Metro Exodus, it's an okay game. It's just the main story needed work,
Yeah.
but it's refreshing. It's refreshing to see this type of tight writing and character design and everything being fleshed out in a proper sense. I just wish the rest of the game was like it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I recommend getting this DLC.
By the way,
It's worth
who
it.
are we hosting?
Who's still on right now?
Dark, Chaos Master, and Like an Alpha.
Mm. Uh, I guess Lycan.
Alright.
Very cool. And yeah, that covers everything for this week's episode of Left Random Talk.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's see. Yeah, so see us again next Thursday when we cover more stuff again.
Yeah.
Before I go, how did the whole bank thing go?
I have not been able to do that just yet.
All right.
You know what's
well,
funny is that, like, I was at work yesterday, and I thought to myself, I should probably ask my mom if we can stop at the bank, at like one of the banks nearby, so I can talk to them face to face about starting an account that I can use online. And at one moment, Mom actually went to her bank, saying, "Oh shit, I forgot to stop here." And it's one I'm not even a part of. And I went, "Oh, okay," but I didn't have enough time to like climb out of the car and go inside and talk to these people.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right.
But all the banks
Well,
are closed for the weekend, so I'm gonna have to try again
Monday.
later. Maybe, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to this week's episode of Left Random Talk. As per usual, AJ will give you the rundown for what she has to, and we'll see you all next Thursday. Take care.
Alright. So now it's just me and the audience here. Hello. For those of you on Twitch, we're going to host my good friend Lycan Alpha. He plays Final Fantasy, Warframe, really anything he feels would be fun for the day. I say this every single episode. We've been doing this for 60 or so episodes. I'm gonna keep saying it until YouTube finally gets its act together and fixes this. Down below in the description on YouTube and down below on Twitch, there's a link and a creeper face that say, donate or support the show by clicking here. Don't click on it. Rev brought up the bank situation. That's mostly the reason why. The links don't do anything because they're not hooked up to anything. So it's really not worth it. I am working on the bank situation. As I said, I need to visit one of them as soon as I can. I don't really have very much free time these days. And when I do have free time, it's eaten up by the dogs. More or less. But, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. we're going to host Lycan. For those of you on YouTube, I'm sorry, this is where we're going to end. There might be a art stream or potentially a D&D stream sometime this weekend. Either Saturday and Sunday or Monday. It depends what happens with my group. But we'll see you guys all next time. Thank you so much for watching.